Bryce MV3 Harper? Michael Mercado with the perfect debut. And we've got the Phillies, or should I say the Philadelphia All-Stars. Let's talk about it today on PHLY Phillies, starting soon. The Phillies take another game one of a series as they continue rolling, knocking off the Detroit Tigers. We had Alec Bohm and Bryce Harper combining for 8 RBIs. We had Michael Mercado with his beautiful, perfect debut that got us all in our feels. Welcome into PHLY Phillies podcast. Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington. Happy Tuesday. As Chris Lemmer saying, happy Taco Tuesday.
We're actually doing tacos tonight. Because the girls love tacos, and as anybody with toddlers can relate, it's difficult to get them consistently eat anything. Tacos are a constant up there with chicken nuggets and pizza. So tonight is taco night in the Lynch house.
I love that.
Yeah.
Enjoy Taco Tuesday. Plus, you get to sprinkle in some other ingredients that maybe you can sneak in under the radar.
Yeah.
But yes, as we are into another series, the Phillies just continue doing some phenomenal things. Yesterday was another game facing the Tigers, game one, that you saw from the start, opening the first at-bats, first 4 at-bats, 4-0 lead. Aaron Nola continued to have a great performance. I mean, a lot of positives to take away. We'll talk about that game last night. We'll also get into the updates on the All-Star voting. Hey, now, we've got All-Stars, lots of All-Stars. Go vote.
Was that off the cuff?
Yeah, it was actually. Well, when I said the word All-Star, it triggered
are
the
kind
song.
of dicks against Phillies fans, so screw
That's
them.
true.
Yeah, their music also is terrible.
Yeah,
so,
so we're not
it's
going to
just
be a
that one
pro
song.
Smash Mouth show.
Okay.
We're team anti-Smash Mouth.
Okay. Did I tell you guys about the time in 5th grade when at a talent show, some of my classmates did the full song of that for the talent show, yo-yoing around stage, the entire song?
And you were a part of this?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Shout out. And I remember the kids that were a part of it. I actually remember their names very vividly.
Wow.
But 5th graders
Core
memory because it was the entire song and they were just on the stage yo-yoing for the entire song.
Wow, quite weird.
It started off cool. There were some Heelys involved where they were kind of rolling around a little bit.
Oh, you grew up in the Healy age.
Oh, yeah.
I did not.
Oh,
Tyler,
yeah.
were you a Healy guy?
I had some.
I was not, but it was super, super popular. I couldn't
So
skate
popular.
well until I was an adult.
I remember
so
at school they had to
that wasn't an
they had to
option.
ban kids from wearing them to school because kids would randomly bust out the
You're
wheels
too
in the
rad,
hallway.
kid. You can't bring them to
Back
school.
at anti-elementary school was getting really wild with the Heelys. But yeah, we've got All-Stars. We've also got to talk about Michael Mercado. And there's some other news that happened around Major League Baseball last night. Lots of walk-offs, lots of chaos. A grand slam that we saw. Reese Hoskins. So we'll talk about all that. Let's see if we can roll through it today. We'll do it. First things first. Last night, and of course we'll talk about the 1-3-5 triple play because it's been 95 years in the making and we have to get into it. But for everybody in the chat, Rose Nyland in the house. What?
You know Rose?
Oh, you don't know. Clearly, you don't know Rose Nyland. Betty White, Golden Girls?
Oh, is that?
That's a character. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for
I do
being a
like
friend.
Golden Girls a lot. We Skylar started watching it because Addie
The
and I.
Golden Girls?
Yeah, I'm a Golden Girls guy. Sorry I missed that. But we were watching it the other day, and she continued watching it the next day when my mother-in-law was over.
Oh.
And we forgot sometimes it can get a little raunchy.
Sometimes it's Blanche is
Yeah,
very
but a
raunchy.
lot of it's over kids' heads.
Yeah.
So we just and then they said slut. They called Blanche a slut. And Skylar asked my mother-in-law what a slut was. And she was like, okay, no more Golden Girls.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
It is interesting because I guess Golden Girls is kind of the modern day General Hospital and soap operas.
No, it's a comedy.
No, it is. But I mean, you don't watch those during the day when I was a kid. Those are the shows that were on TV. Nowadays,
That's like Nick at Night stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it comes on randomly. But anyways, happy to have Rose Nyland in the house. Chris
Thank you,
Lummer, Mickey, Philly 007, John Lumberman, good morning. It's another victory day here.
Phillies are
last
good.
night, the Phillies went on to defeat the Tigers 8-1. Bryce Harper and Alec Bohm continue to show why they're leading the league in all-star votes and in a number of, more importantly, offensive categories. You had a 5 RBI night from Bryce. You had Alec Bohm, who had 4 hits, and the two of them combined for 8 RBIs. And now the Phillies are 21-6 in the first game of series. They open up series with wins, and they continue to do that again last night. We had a high strikeout night. Our own John Foley, who's going to be joining us actually live tomorrow, pointed out the fact that the Phillies last night, over 15 hits and over 15 strikeouts by Phillies hitters in a 9-inning game was the first time in history since at least the start of the modern era, because everything goes back to the modern era, that there's been a night where the Phillies had 15+ in hits and strikeouts. But either way, they won. And that was a weird stat. They kept rolling up strikeouts.
It was kind of a strange game. It was either ball go boom or ball go back to the dugout and sit your ass down. But ball went boom a lot, like that is a strange evening of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those, you just kind of put your feet up after the first inning. Once it got to like 4-0, you're just like, all right, this is pretty much over.
Well, also the very first play was the error. Like that Kyle Schwarber, like ground ball to center field leads to an error, leads to him getting on base. Then Trey comes up, does his thing, finds the pocket. And at that point I was like, oh, this could be ugly.
And when Bohm comes up now, it's just like, and Harper for that matter, the two of them, I mean, that's a nasty 3-4 you got going right now.
Mm-hmm.
Bohm he's just kind of like effortless up there.
Yeah, he is.
And now you have Trey, Harper, and Bohm all hitting above 300 late into June, which I can't recall many people. I think Freddie Galvis had a couple years where he was above 300 late, maybe this late, maybe not. Who am I thinking of, Tyler? There was somebody that was hanging around 300, but they haven't had a lot. I mean, besides Stott last year and
right.
But never 3.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Galvis was like a 260. It was like a 240
I thought it was
to
260.
He did hit 302 1 year.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That was an OBP. He hit 263. Yeah,
what am I thinking of?
His best average across the course of his career was 263.
Okay.
And then also
but it's rare. And it's really rare to have 3 guys late into June in the heart of your order hitting above 300.
That's the thing I was going to say. I mean, you're talking about
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4. And then you have Kyle, who's been doing really great at leadoff. The numbers he's had for the amount of home run, leadoff home runs, and even just being able to get singles and doubles. And then to have 2, 3, 4 come in, and honestly, you have no hesitation. Like yesterday, it's a great point you make. Once Kyle and Trey got on base, you just knew, the Phillies are going to score. Like it felt, and it's not in a cocky way. It's just, what Bryce and Alec Bohm are bringing, especially with runners in scoring position. Their numbers and running with runners in scoring position are phenomenal. And it almost feels like they're, like, especially for Bohm, thriving more. Like, got a runner, got a teammate, let me help get him home. And so it did feel like once they went up 4-0, and Aaron Nola's been in his bag.
Yeah, he was good.
And also this team has not been giving up leads like that. You felt good about it early on, which made the game very fun.
Yeah, Bohm, right now, just looks completely effortless. He's going to put a bat on the ball. He's going to give you a good at-bat. This is courtesy of my buddy Jack Fritz. Since the day off post-London up in Boston, Alec Bohm has had 10 games. He's batting .476, .522 on base with an .810 slugging, a 1.331 OPS, and 3 home runs. So my man is on an absolute tear right now. I think he tied Ozuna. I didn't see if Ozuna got any RBIs last night as the Cardinals almost choked one away. But I think he tied Ozuna last night back for the NL RBI lead. This dude's unbelievable. I mean, he's tied with Ozuna now, Tyler. Yeah, he confirmed. This guy's having an incredible year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's teetering on supreme confidence, which is rare.
Yeah, and I think the key is the fact that we knew what to expect from someone like Bryce Harper. Like we expected, even at the start. even at the start of the season, Bryce started a little bit quote unquote slower, and we knew as the season was progressing that he would continue to ramp things up. Definitely didn't expect Bryce to be in the MVP category this high and this, electric so soon. But then for Alec, he's been one of the surprises. I know we talked about it with Sanchi yesterday. There's been so many pleasant surprises around the Phillies roster that you knew you would get a better Alec Bohm, but not this much better.
No.
All off season we had heard him working on third base. He was working on, overall his at-bats. But to see it coming together of him, and it's not, like you mentioned, it's not home runs for Alec. It's 9
he put
home
one down
runs.
the line
He's got
last night. He just got his bat through the zone.
64 RBIs for Alec Bohm and be leading the league. And it's June. This isn't something where in the past, like we saw in the past, after March and April, he typically would have a down month, May, June, and, it would take him some time to get. No, it's June, and he's consistently been going. And you can, as you point out with the London numbers, it shows for everybody around London, they took a dip because you traveled around the whole world, 18 different time zones in 17 days or vice versa. And it took them some time to reset. And Alec Bohm looks steady, and it's scary to see.
And he might not even be the best player on the team.
Exactly.
Because Bryce Harper is now on the BetPark Sportsbook second in the MVP odds, only behind Shohei Ohtani.
Man.
Now, this is going to be an interesting one if Harper keeps this up, because Shohei Ohtani is I believe the only DH to win the MVP, if I'm not mistaken, right, Tyler?
I feel like he's the only one.
And he pitched that year.
Well, yes, because
he pitched.
So no true DH has ever won the MVP.
Yes.
I believe Edgar Martinez finished second one year.
Yes.
David Ortiz has a handful of top 4
but
finishes.
No true
but
DH.
No true DH has ever won an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So right now, I looked at immediately after the game. I gave the nice people at BetParks like a little 15, 20-minute cushion before I checked. And Shohei Ohtani was a plus 110 to be the NL MVP. And Bryce Harper, and I think this is still good value, is a plus 220 to win MVP. A little 2-to-1 action this late into a season on a guy that's on a tear and has the advantage of playing the field over Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it once was in terms of odds, but I still think a 2.2 to 1 return on him right now is still a pretty good bet.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's playing a great field, too. Like, this guy's just unbelievable.
He is. And he's really settling it so nicely into first base. Like, it's been seamless. And you still forget the fact that last year was his first season.
Rube made that point on the broadcast. I think it was
It's crazy to think about.
Night,
Yeah. And
he made that point of he's finally settled at first and he feels completely comfortable.
Exactly. And honestly, it just is a testament to how great of a player he is and an athlete that he is, and so smart that he's able to come into first base, and you feel like he's been playing there forever.
Yeah.
It's
outside of an occasional like foot placement on the bag, it looks completely flawless transition-wise.
Yeah, and it's translating into a lot of different things. One, of course, yesterday you look at the fact that he gets an extra base hit in 5 straight games now for Bryce Harper. He did have a phenomenal game yesterday. I love the fact that Bryce is really championing the showman, the core of this team, the guy that's gonna like make the big plays. But it's not always a flashy big play. And to be hitting, as we mentioned, 304, 402, 579, everything's increased for him in his stats. He's had 7 games of 5 or more RBIs this season. And yesterday was another game of that. Another game of Bryce Harper just doing Bryce Harper things and absolutely showing why, like I mentioned, in the offseason, he was going to be playing at a level as the best first baseman in Major League Baseball.
So really quickly, guys, to give you
where are you, Oz?
To give you a little caveat on the DH thing. So Rafael Palmeiro won the.
It's black. Oz, are you okay?
Are we live? How about now?
There he is.
There we go. So Rafael Palmeiro won the 1999 MVP. He played 156 games that year.
How many?
Called him a first baseman, but he played 128 games as their DH.
I mean, but he did play 30-something.
So he played 28 games at first. That's probably the closest example we can give you. And like I said, I believe David Ortiz finished top 5 each year from 03 to 07. and Edgar finished in third in 1995.
So to put into perspective where Bryce is right now, he's behind two DHs, and Marcelo Ozuna is a scumbag, and pretty much will be impossible for him to win an MVP.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of frankly. He's been granted a second chance to even play baseball again. So we'll just leave it at that. Bryce is now, this was in Rich's morning newsletter. In OPS, he is third behind Ozuna and Shohei Ohtani. Slugging percentage, he's third at 577 behind those two. Home runs, he's third with 19. Walks, he is fourth with 46. And his batting average is now sixth at 303. He's playing the field. Shohei Ohtani's not. So it's going to be it's a two-man race. I think Fernando Tatis, let me see, I have it right here, was third. He just went on the IL for 10 days. He was already at plus 1,000. Freddie Freeman plus 1,200. So it's pretty much a two-man race between Ohtani and Harper. And it's going to be really interesting to see. Ohtani is freakish enough to win it for just offense. But if you're comparing a DH to a guy that's playing, one of the most hot positions on the field night in and night out, if all things are even, how do you not give it to the position player over the DH?
Right. Exactly.
So I think it's a good bet.
I like it. And exactly as you mentioned, the fact he plays first base should be the edge that helps him. If it comes down to it, helps him to win MVP because the numbers he's putting up and then also the defensive numbers and, plays that he's making. Bryce is MVP. I love the fact that we had the chants going last night and MV3 chants were raining in Detroit.
Eastern time zone.
Mind you, oh boy. For the record, last night was the first night in how many games? It's been 42 days that the Phillies did not play in front of a crowd larger than 30,000 people. So the fact that for the last 42 days, the Phillies had played in front of a sellout crowd or just a crowd of over 30,000 people. That streak was broken last night in Detroit. And you still could hear the chants coming out of MV3, and everybody also, you could see all the red in the stands and all the Phillies fans. But that's what this team is bringing. They are literally traveling around with fans that are, as we know, fantastic all over every ballpark, selling out ballparks, coming in droves and cheering on the Phillies. And also, when you see them out there, they're rocking the Phillies gear, they're rocking some great sunglasses, and you too can rock some great sunglasses out at the ballpark to cheer on the Phillies with Shady Rays, because our friends over at Shady Rays, never ready, have the premium polarized shades that you need to cheer on the fellas when they're out smashing balls, winning games, and totally continuing to keep their victory waves going. Because over at Shady Rays, they do a fantastic job of giving you these stylish sunglasses that look good, feel good, and are all different types of styles for you. So whatever you're interested in, Shady Rays has them for you. And what I like about Shady Rays is they make sure that you're prepared for the season ahead. When you're out on the beach, you're out at the ballpark, you're out going for a walk, maybe you're playing some golf, whatever it is, you want to have the best sunglasses that you can rock, a stylish pair of sunglasses. They can have styles that are the same as your favorite team. Maybe you want to get some red or something, but they also just have hundreds of options to choose from so that you are going to find a pair that matches your style and exactly what you're looking for. So with Shady Rays, you also make sure that you get the coverage because they have the protection if you ever lose, break, or even just want to exchange your Shady Rays, you can also get a new pair. They're very durable, and they're also great at not getting tangled easily. I've had, especially as a woman, I don't know if men, you guys deal with this. Some of you don't have hair on your head. But as a woman, sometimes
I got no hair, Lieutenant Dan.
As a woman, sometimes your sunglasses kind of get caught up in your hair and gets tangled and it hurts. You don't have to worry about that with Shady Rays. Sleek sunglasses that they've got. Very easy to wear, comfortable for you. You're not going to get the nose dent or anything like that with Shady Rays. And also, you don't have to worry about missing out on any of the fun because with Shady Rays, you get to make sure you're stylish, you're ready to go, and you've got a great pair of sunglasses to rock. So exclusively for our listeners today, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 30% off your polarized sunglasses. Try them for yourself. The sunglasses, the shades that are rated 5 stars by 300,000 people. That's right. 300,000 people have been rating these 5 stars. And you can find out why when you use that code PHLY and get 35% off.
Yeah, and let me tell you about our friends over at Rite Aid Pharmacy, because there's an app for everything these days, and everything's done digitally and right there in the palm of your hand. So why not your pharmacy services as well? With a My Pharmacy account at Rite Aid, you can refill prescriptions, schedule vaccines, get personalized care recommendations, sign up for prescription notifications, and all you need to get started is a prescription at Rite Aid. So get started at riteaid.com/mypharmacy. You can enroll in courtesy refills, automated, free. It's easy, and most prescriptions qualify. So talk with your local Rite Aid pharmacist today, or sign up through your My Pharmacy account at riteaid.com. Restrictions may apply. Manage your prescriptions with the Rite Aid mobile app. Transfer and refill, set up reminders, enroll in notifications, download from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Transfer your prescriptions to Rite Aid today. Just go to riteaid.com/transfer. Rite Aid's caring pharmacists are ready to answer your questions and help you stay healthy. Get your prescriptions along with anything at Rite Aid you might need. I just had some delicious popcorn before the show from Rite Aid, including over-the-counter medications, household products, cosmetics, and more. Just ask your pharmacy team for details. Restrictions apply. I'm not a big banana guy.
These are so good. Shout out to Rite Aid for dropping these off for us from their LO Market brand.
Mm-hmm.
The gummy bananas are delicious.
Yeah, I'm not a big banana guy. Plus, I got a cavity, so I'm trying to avoid sweets.
Oh, so you don't want these gummy bananas?
I do.
Banana.
I do.
Banana.
I like the idea of bananas. It just
banana. Rite Aid's got banana. Do you know what?
No.
Minions. Don't your girls love them? Despicable Me?
Yeah, but I go in and out of paying attention.
So, you're not paying attention.
So I love the Minions. I think they're the best.
They're funny as hell.
So I just think, they're fun, they're cute, they're funny. It was whatever the last one that came out, maybe 2 that came out ago. I said to my wife, we were dating at the time, I'm like, I want to go see Despicable Me. She's like, wait, what? I'm like, I want to go see this movie. And she goes, fine, we'll go. When I tell you we were the only adults without children in that theater.
There's a new one coming out this fall.
There is, because
they've got 9,000 of them now. Yeah. It's too hard to keep up now.
I know, there's a lot, but I don't blame them because it's a genius.
It's a gold mine.
It can keep going. And also, I can admit, my brother and I, for instance, that Banana song, I know all the words to it because it's entertaining also as adults.
Speaking of animated movies that never end, did you guys know Shrek 5 is coming out next year?
Actually, I'm excited about that because I love all the Shreks.
The girls love Shrek.
I think it's so cool how they bring in all the different stories, and it's the inner child in me is very happy. So I'm also very happy about the Phillies because I can go on a tangent and talk about Shrek, Despicable Me, and Minions all day long. And I know in the chat, you guys are still talking about the MVP discussions, talking about some gummies Frank is bringing into the chat. Also, just talking about some other things around. Oh, I love gummy bears around the league. Well, let's get into some other offensive numbers before we move along because we've got a lot of numbers, all-star numbers, Phillies numbers to talk through. The 135 numbers. Looking at the Phillies yesterday in that win. So Nick Castellanos, who's Philly 007, generously brought up in the chat, also has been offensively playing really well. He's been on a hitting streak, 7 games in a row now that Nick's been able to get a hit, at least a hit. He was 0 for 17 prior to that, and I know they were talking about on the broadcast yesterday, and something that Nick and Rob discussed is how much he's been just changing his bat angle, working on his swing, working on the balance of his legs, his head movement, and even his rotation. And you can see that the difference in Nick Castellanos. He's feeling it. He's back, as we always talk about. Liam being able to visit, the warm weather, everything's coming together for Nick Castellanos. And quietly has been doing really well for the Phillies because, of course, when you look across the board, it's not just Bryce. It's not just Alec. It's literally everybody. It's Christian Pache coming in, making some big plays yesterday. It's Nick. It's even Garrett Stubbs getting a hit.
This is the sign of why they're a really good team. Because when somebody goes down, like Trey Turner goes down, Edmundo Sosa and Bryson Stott step right up and are a top 5 shortstop platoon. You know, when somebody goes down, and Nick Castellanos stepped up when JT went down.
Bingo.
JT went down. You lost your 2-hole hitter at the time because Trey wasn't back yet. And it kind of coincided with Castellanos' hot streak. And when somebody goes down on this team, somebody steps up. And that's really kind of the sign of a good and great team. And what's really exciting is they're going to get better at the trade deadline.
Right.
I mean, we're 35 days away. and there's no way with how good they are that Dave Dombrowski isn't going to do something impactful. So you have a great team. You have all the makings of a great team, the culture, the guys stepping up, 3 guys batting over 300,
Right.
bench players contributing. Castellanos gets hot when JT goes down. It's just kind of the perfect thing going on. They really, they have it this year.
And the thing is, you mentioned with the timeline of JT, JT goes down. It was around June 11th that he went down, or June 10th. And Nick has been on a 7-game hitting streak. I mean, it's not exact, but it is about right on time that as he went down, Nick has gotten going.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, we directly saw it with Edmundo Sosa immediately when he was plugged in to replace Trey Turner, that he was rolling. My only question that I'm curious about, this has nothing to do with just, this is not a baseball specific question. Garrett Stubbs' helmet, does it ever stay on? Is that part of his thing? I feel like every time Garrett Stubbs is running, he's got the wild run going, the locks are flowing, and then his helmet just goes flying
he's got a nice
every time.
flow. Maybe he wants to show it off.
I feel like that's his bit.
Well, Willie Mays Hayes. No, I mean not Willie Mays Hayes, but Willie Mays used to wear a too small because he was a showman and he wanted the helmet to fly off.
I'm convinced
when
that
he was running the bases because he thought people would go, oh, look at that guy. He's giving 110%.
I think that's Garrett Stubbs.
You said
maybe
it.
Stubbs.
We got to say it. It's got to be said. You may run like Mays, but you hit like shit.
I am just convinced
so maybe
his
Garrett
bit.
Stubbs has got that Willie Mays in him.
I think he intentionally
It's the first
runs his
time that
helmet
sentence
off.
will ever be uttered ever.
I know.
And never again.
I know. And it is something I've been noticing every time, and it does make it look like he's working
Bryce
harder.
too. Bryce likes to.
Bryce does too, like the buck, but he's like bucking it off. Garrett kind of sways it off, and he does a little arm up.
Man, when Bryce runs, he runs like he swings, which is violent.
Yeah, it's very violent.
Like he goes for it.
He definitely does. And Kyle, of course, has been on a hitting streak as well. They were able to get after Mize, who I didn't realize his first inning ERA was a 7.03, which is not good, which is a big, as we saw,
Casey Mize got rocked.
Huge difference maker when you are starting off games down. And the Phillies were able to do that to Detroit yet again. And then the Phillies came into yesterday leading the league with 56 first inning runs. Phenomenal. We've talked a lot about how quickly they jump out on teams. 56 first inning runs. You are also not only jumping out in the sense of first innings, but first games. Again, to be 21-6 in first games of series.
Wait, what's the number again?
21-6 in the first game of series.
That's unbelievable.
Yes, which drastically goes on, of course, help them win the series. So some more incredible numbers, and then we're not even talking about the pitching yet. We're just talking about the offensive production. But Jamie, just more phenomenal numbers that the Phillies continue to post.
Yeah. Speaking of Aaron Nola, and this is now back-to-back starts where Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are coming off poor performances and have gone, well, that wasn't right. Let me just go 7 strong for you and strike out some guys. The Phillies have now won 13 of their last 15 games started by Aaron Nola. And he bounced back and won 7 innings just like Wheeler did off of his poor, and I do that in quotations because their poor is still better than most of the league. This is the best starting pitching staff in baseball. They've gone to the most 7-inning plus appearances in baseball. To me, that just says you have the best staff because that allows your bullpen to survive a 162 game schedule. Like you had Orion get up last night just because he needed work.
Yeah.
And like these starters are constantly going 7 innings, and it's a real luxury that should have benefits come September, where you should theoretically have a freshish bullpen, and hopefully the starters can just maintain and not hit like that kind of wall. But I mean, it's the best staff in baseball, and I didn't realize when I read that last night that they've won 13 of Nola's last 15.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And he's kind of their 4th best pitcher this year, but they're winning all of his games.
And let's not forget, because it was not too long ago, we were talking about Zach and Aaron Nola not getting the run support, having poor performances. Those first starts of the season were not good for Aaron or Zach. And it was a lot of things. It was like Aaron had the St. Louis game that was rainy and gross, and like all these random caveats that were happening. And then as of recent, been on a tear. So now the Phillies have had 17 times this season that a starter has gone 7 or more innings.
That's crazy.
And allowed no more than 1 run. And then also it's been, I guess now 25 times, like it's 24, 25 times that they've gone 7 or more innings in general. So the fact that you have your starting pitching able to go that deep into games is tremendous for setting the tone, but also allowing you to not have to overexert your bullpen. And now you can pick and choose, giving Orion an inning here, giving, whoever.
Filthy last night.
And then also, before we get into a little bit more about the bullpen and just looking at the starters. So I know they flashed this graphic on the screen last night on the NBC broadcast about the stellar start to the first 77 games of the season. So comparing back to 2011's 4 aces, this group of Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, and Sanchez have gone 61 starts to their 60, and they have a 32-11 record compared to the 2011's 30-17 record. Now, the impressive numbers keep going. A 2.68 ERA for today's team, a 2.77 ERA for 2011, an 8.67 Ks per 9 to an 8.17 Ks per 9. A 3.67 Ks to walks to a 4.85 Ks to walks.
I need a cigarette.
And then, of course, complete games were in favor of 2011 because back then that was still very much popular.
That's unbelievable.
Insane.
I mean, it does feel like this staff is better, but it feels dirty to say because that staff had Roy Halladay, who's a Hall of Famer, Cliff Lee, who was short but like good enough in his prime that he was like Hall of Fame caliber. He just didn't have the longevity to do it. Cole Hamels, short, but like an all-star. And Roy Oswald, who he's not in, right, Tyler? He's going to come up just short. Oswald.
To the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
He's just short, though, right? Like
I don't think it's as close as you think it is.
I don't know.
I'd have to go back and double check.
Yeah,
but
check his numbers real quick. Regardless, you hear those 4 names, that's like pitching royalty.
Yep.
And to your non-diehard Philadelphia Philly, you hear Christopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez, and they don't really stack up to a Cole Hamels and Roy Oswald.
Right.
So it's like it almost feels dirty to say that this staff is better, but they're right there in front of the numbers.
Yes, they are.
It's telling you that they're better this year, which is unbelievable to say.
Oof.
And another one that's unbelievable, the Phillies last night, that marked their 45th quality start on the year. It is June 24th when that happened.
Ooh.
45 quality starts already. So it really is unbelievable what this starting rotation is doing. It is fun. And we'll get into tonight because you talk about pitching matchups. It doesn't get much better than tonight, but we do have to talk about the kids' special night.
We do.
Because that was really cool.
That was really cool. Also, one last nugget, the fact that Aaron Nola did pass 100 innings pitched last night. So he's now at 101, and we aren't even into July yet. So the durability of it, it's always been Aaron as Mr. Durable, but we're seeing it throughout for Zach, Aaron, Ranger, and Sanchi, that they're all Mr. Durable right now and able to give you 7+ strong innings, not just, 7 wavering, falling apart, hold your breath innings.
Yeah.
But we did get the incredible debut of Michael Mercado.
That was
his
cool.
first majors appearance. His parents, Shelly and David, were in the stands. Of course, we had to find them on the camera, and it was great to see them smiling. And my heart always gets very tingly when I see those moments.
I think Tom and Ruben said it. They were like, they look pretty cool. Like, they weren't like
to their
nervously
point,
on the edge of their seat. Like,
to their point,
they were enjoying
the
it.
Mercados are also a superstar sibling duo.
So do you know the sister?
Yeah. So I just did a Seattle game, ironically. I was just on the broadcast for their last game. And Maddie Mercado.
She played at Notre Dame?
And plays professionally with the Seattle Reign and the NWSL. Of course, we also have Brandon Marsh and his sister Erin, who's right now competing number 9 in the Olympic qualifiers for the heptathlon. She's a phenomenal all-star, talented athlete, I should say. So we've also got some cool superstar siblings on this team. And for the Mercados, you had Maddie, who was drafted this past 2024 class, who's already been playing professionally. And now you have Michael, Eminem. That's, they keep a thing going. He just got his debut. So it's been a really good time for them. And to see him go out, the game is won at that point, and it's now all focused on just Michael having a great first game. 15 pitches, 11 of those were strikes, 1 strikeout, Perfect inning. And as Rob was mentioning, he really had good depth, good spin. His fastball was around a 97, and all three hitters first pitch strikes. And for Michael to go out there, I think the biggest thing I wrote down that I noticed was the composure. Like, he's got great size. He was strong on the mound. He's big.
They say he's listed as 6'4". Bullshit.
Yeah,
he's probably 6'6".
I agree. Looking at his build, he's very tall. But you love these moments where you get to see how a youngster comes in. It was not too long ago, last September, we saw Orion's debut and, different guys that we've seen their debut. And to see Michael on the mound, he was mentioning how it's been a long time in the making, Jamie, which made me chuckle because he's only 25. And he's like, 7-8 years, it's been a long time in the making. But it does feel that way for going to play at Stanford, and then he had the COVID. He was a part of like the craziness of the, I feel bad for a lot of college athletes that had to deal with that COVID time. He had Tommy John surgery in 2019. Then he also had the issue of just kind of bouncing around the minors. And the Phillies got him also for literally nothing this offseason from the Rays. And he's thrived under Caleb Cotham. Again, he talks about it. And Caleb Cotham, Brian Kaplan, really helped him, take strides that he had phenomenal numbers in AAA coming in with a 1.71 ERA and 44 strikeouts in 14 games in AAA. And then you just saw last night it all kind of come together for him. It was a great moment.
Yeah, give Caleb Cotham all the money in the world and make sure that man never leaves the Phillies. What is happening this year?
He's amazing.
Is like you have to give, obviously the athlete, like if you have the 100% pie, the athlete deserves like 75%, 80%. Like most of it is athlete driven, but there is a developmental aspect to this. And you have to look at it and go, Caleb Cotham, goddamn, sir, you are good at your job. Because when you see kids that are coming up and Spencer Turnbull and all these kind of reclamation projects, Jose Alvarado they got from the Rays for nothing. Jeff Hoffman was off the scrap heap.
Yep.
Orion was a fast riser in the organization.
Spencer Turnbull.
There is a developmental aspect to what the Phillies pitching is doing right now. And seriously, never let that man leave. Because remember in the offseason, we read an article, I forget who wrote it at the time, but it was, it was kind of like Preston Mattingly is a fast riser in the kind of front office ranks. And Caleb Cotham is a fast riser in a possible managerial role. So, Michael Mercado deserves all the credit in the world, but I think whatever the Phillies are doing right now is working. That kid throws gas.
Yeah.
His breaking ball was diving last night, and he's touched as high as 99 in the minors.
Yeah.
So, you saw 96 last night. If he can get stronger and as another guy with stuff that moves and he throws hard, it's the Phillies formula, and they've been great with it.
Yeah, and I know, Flyers in 7 is asking a great question of like who beats this team in 7 games. It wasn't too long ago as we were looking in the playoffs last year that it was mostly Ranger Aaron, Zach, and then the bullpen, Jose, Jeff, Craig Kimbrell. Think about how different this pitching staff is from last year. You've got Orion, who's now had games under his belt.
Kimbrell was actually good a year ago at this time.
He was actually good a year ago at this time. But in the postseason to now, there's been so many changes that you have as Spencer Turnbull. Obviously, we know Taijuan Walker is the outlier currently. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Gregory Soto, they've been pitching well. Obviously, Jose Alvi and Jeff Hoffy, as they call him, are exactly what you expect. But then even to bring in a Michael Mercado, who's coming up from AAA, and how many times you see across the league, guys make their debut, and except for Paul Skeens, make their debut and they're kind of like, flailing a little bit. It's not great. They just are kind of getting through it. Nope. In that one inning, Michael Mercado, it's not even just about
3 inning.
It's not even just and I think the bigger thing beyond that was just his composure. Like the command that he showed, he didn't look like a guy making a debut. He looked like he's been there before.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
There's no chance. Somebody brought this up in the Discord last night. There's no chance that kid shaves yet, right? Like he is baby faced. Right? He's a very baby-faced looking kid.
He definitely is a baby. He's so young. Yeah. He's definitely got a baby face.
If I was, to an encounter a baby face, I might say, hey, there, baby face, Michael Mercado. Can I tell you about TrueMark Financial Credit Union? Because it can help you get better returns on your investment. TrueMark is just great. They're locally headquartered right here in Fort Washington. They have 24 area locations across the Delaware Valley. And if you're traveling for Phillies away games, it's still easy to keep track of your spending with TrueMark Financial's mobile app. Everything is mobile driven these days. You got to have an app. So TrueMark Financial's got you. The mobile app allows access anytime, anywhere. You can easily check balances, view transactions, make transfers, pay bills, all the stuff you're used to from the convenience of your mobile phone. Plus, you can add cards to your mobile wallet for easy in-store and online payments. I'm a little bit boomerish in that I still don't do like the card pay. So, TrueMark can help me become a little hipper, Renee. And if you're planning on buying a house, TrueMark Financial's mortgage specialists can offer guidance on loan options and terms. They'll help you assess your finances and credit score and determine your borrowing capacity. Save for a down payment and budget for closing costs. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender. For more information, visit truemark.com/PHLY.
Yeah, and let me also tell you about our friends over at Olipop. Delicious Olipop. This is actually one of my new favorite flavors.
You got props on both reads today. Look at you.
The Tropical Punch Olipop is becoming one of my favorites because it's almost like it's so smooth. It's like a juice. It's sweet. It's got great flavor. That's what I love about Olipop in general. And I personally had to make sure if we're going to talk about Olipop a lot, I'm going to see them in every store that I go to because they're in 30,000 stores nationwide. And I see the trucks and I see them on different aisles. I want to make sure that I'm trying as many flavors as I can and tell you guys about them. And with Olipop, what I enjoy most about them is it is very flavorful. When you get a lot of healthy drinks or healthy foods, that takes away taste. And you guys know I have a sweet tooth. I love my sweet snacks, drinks, whatever it may be. And I can't stand the fact that to drink or eat healthy, you have to also have, food that has a bad aftertaste or a drink that's not smooth or it's chunky. Ugh. Not with Olipop. They are the world's first functional soda with a classic soda taste, all the delicious flavors from grape to orange to cream to tropical punch. They've got lemon lime. They've got strawberry, vanilla, cherry cola, regular cola. So many different flavors for you. No aftertaste, no weird chunky texture or anything like that. It's smooth. It's flavorful soda. I put my family onto it, although technically Tyler put my family onto it, and then I help reassure them to keep drinking it. I've told everybody about Olipop because you get to drink delicious soda that's going to help you get the fiber that you need, the prebiotics, plant-based fiber at that, and also other botanical ingredients that all support your gut health. 2 out of 3 Americans are dealing with digestive health issues. 95% are not getting the amount of fiber that they need. With Olipop, you get the flavor, you get the fiber, you get the good digestive health. So today, make sure you take advantage of the opportunity to use our code PHLY20. It gets you 20% off your next Olipop order. That discount only applies to first-time orders, not to subscription orders. And Olipop is sold online. Amazon, it's on drinkolipop.com, and in 30,000 different stores nationwide. Wawa, Target, Sprouts, GoPuff, ShopRite, Wegmans, airports, different markets where you can find Olipop. Refreshing, delicious Olipop. All right, so.
By the way, Tyler, Roy Oswalt, it's just short, I think. 50 career WAR. 106th in baseball history.
He got 0.9% of the votes in 2008 and 19. He's not even
just short guy.
No, he's not even remotely close.
Well, like in the 106th in baseball history for WAR puts you on the doorstep. That's a just close guy. I don't mean like he got 45% of the vote and came up short.
I think what I'm saying is I think the voters disagree with you. I think that he was a good pitcher. I don't think that he nor Cliff Lee, who I believe got 0.5% of the vote, I don't think they suffice in a lot of the standard categories to get in.
Yeah, sure. But like Roy Oswalt is right there with.
They were very good.
Johan Santana and like just behind Sandy Koufax.
Johan Santana to me is a better pitcher than both Roy Oswalt and Cliff Lee. And
yes,
and Sandy
he
Koufax,
had a shoulder injury.
Sandy Koufax's number is low because he really only had the 5 years.
I'm just saying it. Well, you looked at me like I'm crazy when I say he's a just short guy.
Well, I think it's. I do.
I think he's a just short guy.
I'm not even sure he's in that category.
All right, he got votes. But he's on the ballot.
Yeah, do you want to read some of the guys that got votes over
there? I mean, he was a career 3.3. Oh, Renee, we're going to go into it. I mean, it was a career 3.3.
We got a lot to talk about.
I know, but like.
All right, here's a couple of guys recently that have
got
votes.
3.3 ERA, 163 wins.
I'll give you 2 minutes to get this done.
I'm just saying I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I'm saying he's a just short of a Hall of Famer.
All right, ready?
Which I think he is.
Placido Polanco got votes in 2019.
Very good player.
Brad Penny got a vote in 2020.
Well, that's just ridiculous.
JJ Putz got a vote.
He was a top of the closer for a couple years there.
How about see, actually, I'm surprised Barry Zito only got one vote. Barry Zito only got one vote in 2021. That seems low to me.
Yeah, what was his peak? 3 or 4 years?
AJ Przinsky got 2 votes.
1 minute left.
Let's see. Last year. We'll go to last year real quick.
You compare him to other pitchers.
R.A. Dickey got a vote.
He won a Cy
Lackey
Young.
got a vote. Mike Napoli got a vote. Brunson Arroyo got a vote. Houston Street
Yes, because their local beat writers are voting for him. Roy Oswalt is a just short guy. I think that's a fair statement.
I think he's further off than you feel.
I mean, a 50 career WAR, 163 wins, 3.3 career ERA, 1,800 strikeouts. Like, I think it was a fair statement.
Like, let me ask you this, real quick, and then we'll wrap it up.
30 seconds.
Roy Oswalt or Mark Burley?
That's a good one, actually, because Burley was. What are you asking me? Who would I take?
If you had the blind guess, who do you think A was a more
the
qualified
way you're
Hall of
phrasing
Famer?
it makes me think Burl's got better numbers.
Burley got 8% of the vote. He got 52 votes.
Okay.
He also has a 59.1 WAR.
That's
which
pretty good.
Is again,
he was
you know I don't care about WAR.
Well, I just use WAR to contextually.
But my point being is that I think that if you asked 50 baseball fans who was better, Roy Oswalt or Mark Burley, I bet you more would vote for Oswalt.
I think so.
Even though Burley was, he wasn't close either, but he got 8% to Oswalt's 0.9.
My only point is if you're 106th in baseball history in pitching WAR, you're a just short guy. That's it. We're done.
Perfect. Right on cue. Woo-hoo. Good job, guys. All right. Last night was the first night that we saw a 1-3-5 triple play in nearly 100 years. Triple plays are hard to come by in general. We saw just 2 last season. The Angels and Braves had them. This was the first triple play of the season across Major League Baseball. There have been 32 triple plays in the Phillies' history, and last night was the first 1-3-5 triple play in Major League Baseball since July 11th, 1929, according to Baseball Almanac. And the players that were involved, or the group that was involved with that,
is that it was in Detroit also.
Correct. Bingo.
What the hell is in the air in Detroit? Stupidity, apparently.
Detroit apparently has I guess every 95 years, maybe, they decide to have a 1-3-5 triple play.
Well, it was really weird. I don't know why the guy on third would have been running. But Rob Thompson said after the game that there was a glare in the left field, the visitor's dugout, that he didn't even see where the ball was hit. And next thing he knew, everybody was walking off the field. And he goes, why is everybody walking off the field? So I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt to the guy on third that maybe he just saw one cracked up the middle.
Yeah.
Didn't see where the ball went, took off, and then went, oh, shit.
From the
so I guess
broadcast,
that's what happened.
You could see there was like the weird lighting and shading that was throughout the ballpark. And,
a lot of beams.
And it was very easy to say, watching, like, why would he go? But as you mentioned, if he didn't have a good vantage point of where the ball actually went and what actually happened, you're thinking just go. Get your team on the scoreboard.
He didn't crack it right at Nola.
Yeah.
But that's rare.
My gosh.
A 1-3-5 triple play. So I guess I'm assuming, that's a really big, that should never How often do you see a first baseman throw to a third baseman for an out? You know, like.
And because he went, it allowed them to like easily close out that 1-3-5 triple play. And it was like, what can this team do at this point? Like, they're making all these records that we didn't even know were records. I mean, who would be thinking about going into 2024, I bet the Phillies are going to break the 95-year streak of a 1-3-5 triple play. Like, didn't have that on our bingo card, but here we are. So lots of history that's been in the making for the Phillies. Anything else? I feel like let's put a bow on last night's game and the numbers.
Oh, the Phillies, you want another magic number?
Oh, yes. Go for it.
The Phillies' magic number, Tyler, is 78.
Oh, is that all? Nice.
Yeah.
Getting close.
Maybe we start a countdown. Tomorrow will be 77 after they beat Skubal's ass. But yes, their magic number is out there already.
I love it.
And 35 days until Luis Roberts' a Philly.
Yes.
So we got a lot of numbers to keep track of.
Yes, and 30 feels like the number for Rob Thompson, that if the Phillies win 30 series, it gets any team to the playoffs, he was saying, and the Phillies already are on track for that. They have won in total 14 series so far. There are 26 that they've played as of this past weekend. So they have a chance to get that to 15 and get halfway there to winning 30 series. But tonight is a good matchup. We've got our favorite, Jamie's
My
favorite.
sweet, adorable boy Ranger.
Suarez is on the mound going against Tarik Skubal, Tyler's favorite, actually. So it's a battle of like two of you guys' favorite pitchers.
Yeah.
Should be a really good matchup. And honestly, for Detroit in general, they don't have much, but
they have good pitching.
They do.
Yeah.
But this is one of the, as we were talking about before the show even started, one of the better pitching matchups that we've been able to see all season.
Yeah, Skubal on BetParks right now is your AL favorite to win the Cy Young Award. We gave Tyler a nerd assignment on Skubal and his arsenal that he's going to throw tonight, which we'll get to in a second. But real quick on the year, his numbers, he's got a 3.2 WAR, a 2.5 ERA. Detroit has backed him up a little bit. He does have 8 wins on the year. Started 15. He's at 90 innings pitched already on the year, 105 strikeouts in 90 innings with a sub-1 whip at .96. So he's a phenomenal pitcher. We all know what Ranger Suarez is. Tyler, take it away on your boy Skubal, please.
Yeah, this is a really, really awesome pitching matchup, and I think we're probably
John Sequella in our Discord said feels like an 8-beer matchup tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before the show started, right?
Miller Lite,
how many matchups this year have we said are like the premier matchups? I think this is probably the third one we've seen this year.
Burns and Wheeler for sure.
Burns, Wheeler. You could go all the way back to Wheeler Strider on opening day. Is an amazing pitching matchup, and this one as well. And so Tarik Skubal has, I think, a lot of people.
And a lefty, too, for those that
jumped on the Tarik Skubal bandwagon this offseason, and rightfully so. You saw the glimpses. He really didn't have a huge sample size last year. Missed a little bit of time, missed a lot of times in previous years. But here's just a couple of things that stand out to me from Tarik Skubal. But first, I'll show you guys a couple of things. Here's the first thing. His advanced pitching metrics are ridiculously good.
Damn.
The velo is high. He's at 96, 97 mile an hour fastball. Damn. Touches 98, 99. He keeps the ball in the ballpark. Average exit velos in the 89th percentile. He gets a ton of swings and misses. He doesn't walk hitters. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, here's what he does well. Keeps the ball in the yard, doesn't walk hitters, strikes out a lot of hitters. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's a pretty good recipe for success when it comes to a starting pitcher.
Not bad.
Then, further along that, the one thing that I think that really jumps out to me watching Tarik Skubal pitch is the fact that he is extremely deceptive. Now, his windup, he's got a really high leg kick, not a kind of a wild Dontrelle Willis leg kick, but more along the lines of what we saw with Garrett Crochet when the White Sox.
Who's going to get traded?
When the Phillies saw the White Sox. It is a high, long lefty leg kick. And between that and his when he's in the stretch, where there is not as high of a leg kick, it's more of a traditional stretch kick, slide step, closing in on a slide step. The one thing that Skubal does extremely well is hide the ball, because the leg kick is the deceiver, but the ball hiding, as long as it does, is exactly what you need from Tarik Skubal, because the leg goes up, the hand and glove follow the leg, and then the hand is arched behind the back for about as long as he possibly can, with that like claw motion where it's basically tucked on that left hip. And when he's tucking it on the left hip, following through, and he doesn't have a huge extension, but following through that long leg kick and coming down, from the mound, hiding the ball as well as he does, he becomes an extremely deceptive pitcher to face. He pounds the strike zone. The fastball is good, and most importantly, his changeup is his best pitch, I think. He throws it about 86 to 89, and this is crazy. The one thing that I didn't realize.
So Brandon Marsh is sitting tonight.
I would imagine Brandon Marsh does not play today.
I would play Stott though, because I don't want to go Witt.
Probably going to play one of the two.
I would hope.
This is the interesting part. Over the last 3 years, in 2022, he threw 276 changeups. In 2023, threw 297 changeups. This year, he's already over 343 changeups. So approximately, we're talking about 800, 900 changeups or so over the last 3 years. Would you guys like to take a guess how many he threw to left-handed pitching or left-handed hitters over the last 3 years?
Percentage?
Pitch-wise. Number-wise.
Almost 800, you said?
It's somewhere between 800 and 900 changeups thrown. How many do you think he threw to left-handers?
62. Oh, wait. Oh, you're not saying percentage. Of the 800. I would say 572.
29.
Okay.
He throws his changeup exclusively to right-handed hitters, and it has incredible downward movement. It is a really, really good pitch against good right-handed hitters. He's got a full arsenal of really good repertoire with his top 4 pitches, but the changeup is his best pitch in my opinion. He throws the fastball more, about 33% of the time.
Well, good thing the Phillies have some pitchers on their staff that they're used to great changeups.
Really, really good changeup.
Maybe that helps them a little bit facing Sanchez and Suarez and Nola there.
This kid's nasty.
Yeah, he's absolutely
to put a bow on it. This kid's nasty.
This is gonna be a great
Tyler,
game tonight. Good nerd.
Well done.
Good nerd breakdown.
Oh my gosh! But as we talk about all the numbers, you do have Skubal coming in with a 2.50 ERA, 8-3 on the season. He's got in his last 3 appearances though a 4.76 ERA. Has allowed 18 hits in his last 3 appearances, 19 strikeouts, 5 walks. On the other side for Ranger, coming in with a 1.75 ERA for the season, 10-1, and in the last 3 appearances, a 1.96 ERA, 20 hits allowed, 16 strikeouts, 3 walks. It should be a great matchup of 2 Cy Young favorites as of now that are going to start off the game for tonight. And then it should be an exciting matchup, a pitcher's duel.
I feel good about the Phillies here, right? Because Rangers technically kind of been better. And the Phillies have the Phillies offense, and Detroit's offense sucks.
Right.
So the offense should tilt in the favor of the Phillies.
And as the chat is mentioning, a great chance for the righties to be able to step up. Trey and all the right-handed hitters should have
Marsh
a good...
is definitely sitting tonight.
Yeah,
because he can't hit lefties that aren't Tarik Skubal, let alone a potential Cy Young winner. So I would think Marsh is definitely out. It'd be interesting to see what they do with Stott because Dahl would have to take over for Marsh and left if you go Witt at second.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. We'll definitely
But Marsh is definitely out.
We'll see when that lineup comes out. Definitely share your score projections for tonight because it should be a good matchup. I know Philly 007 saying sounds like a 4-2 game. Greg is saying 5-3 Phils.
4-2 feels right.
It does feel like it should be a low-scoring game, especially given what you just showed us, Tyler. Skubal is going to be really tough to hit, and so feels like it should be enough.
A Lynch says, wow, Marche. No, not Marche. That's just reality. Marsh can't hit lefties. So when you do play him against lefties, you want to play him against guys you think he can have success against. This would not be a guy I would think he can have success
And he's
against.
been struggling a little bit more since he came back from his hamstring in general, that you don't want to put him up against a Skubal who's going to strike him out.
And here's the thing, too, guys. Under the assumption that Tarik Skubal goes fairly deep into this game, whether it's 6 or 7 or whatever the case may be, you're also – and assuming it's going to be a close game because last night was not, you are going to have to see Jason Foley at some point as well, who's been really, really good this year out of the back end of their bullpen. 2.6 ERA. He hasn't pitched in 4 days, so I assume he's going to be their high leverage reliever, much like he is most of the time. He's going to be their high leverage reliever out of the bullpen tonight. He's done a really nice job in stepping up because Alex Lang was their closer. Last year, I think he got lat surgery recently, so he's done for quite some time. Jason Foley's been really good this year.
Oh, I'm dumb. Sosa will play second, and and Witt will play left. I would fully expect that's the lineup today.
Oh, yeah. And Sosa we trust. All right. Well,
I think your point was if you're picking one of the two, the likelihood of a more definitive sit is Brandon Marsh.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Yes,
He's batting like 160 versus lefties.
Yeah. So also, in addition to all the success and excitement around the Phillies winning, they are also winning in the All-Star voting. Make sure you guys go vote. You can do so on the Phillies website.
Her vote this morning with Addie over cereal.
What is it? Phillies.com/vote, I believe it is, where you guys can go vote yourselves.
/buildsubmarines.com.
So our own John Foley was putting out the updated numbers on the All-Star voting because the Phillies have never had more than 5. And you can argue this season alone that they should have, in terms of pitchers, 3 or 4. But you look at where the numbers are currently. We have Bryce Harper and Alec Bohm top in voting for first baseman and for third baseman. JT Realmuto's number 2 for catchers. You also have Bryson Stott number 3. They are leading the votes in a number of ways. Here's the overall vote leading for every position because William Contreras with the Brewers has been fantastic. Gets the number 1 for the catchers. You've got Bryce Harper and Freddie Freeman for first baseman. Alec Bohm and Manny Machado for third baseman. Ketel Marte and Luis Ariz for second. And then, of course, Bryson Stott is third overall for second baseman voting. Shortstops, Mookie Betts and Trey Turner leading the way. For DH, you've got Shohei Ohtani and Marcell Ozuna. Kyle Schwarber is next on the list for overall DH, as well as Rhys Hoskins. And then for outfielders, it's Jurickson Profar, Christian Yelich, Teoscar Hernandez, Fernando Tatis Jr., Brandon Marsh, and Nick Castellanos that are leading the votes. Johan Rojas still is not far off for voting and actually is in that 7th overall for outfielders.
Where's Jackson Merrill? Come on, people. Do the right thing.
Get Elliot Ramos in the All-Star
Jackson Merrill.
Seriously.
Jackson Merrill is currently
Johan
16th.
Rojas and Nick Castellanos do not belong anywhere near the
You
top
have
of the
players
voting.
like Jackson Merrill, who's 16th for outfielders.
He deserves to be an outfielder.
Starling Marte, 18th. Adam Duvall, 17th. Jackson Churio and Corbin Carroll,
The
bottom
NL
of the
outfield
list.
stinks is
Yeah,
my takeaway.
it's basically, Lourdes Gurriel, Cody Bellinger. So very interesting to see how the voting is rolling out. But you guys make sure that you continue to vote. Let's see how many Phillies we can send to the All-Star games.
Yeah, I would imagine with
year.
Mookie's injury, Trey's going to get the start. So you're going to have an infield on the NL All-Star game of Trey Turner, Alec Bohm, and Bryce Harper, and Ketel Marte. I would imagine JT is backing up Contreras, who rightfully deserves it. The guy's a machine. And then when you look at pitchers, which is Torey Lovolo's decision. Did I say that right? Lovolo? Yeah. I would imagine Strahm gets it because it was such an impressive streak. I feel like you kind of have to honor that. I think Zach Wheeler and Ranger Suarez are locks. I say Sanchez is deserving, but I don't think he's going to get it just because of like brand recognition.
Yeah, I don't know that he's as big of a name outside of
You can't have 9 Phillies because then you can make the case that Orion and Hoffman also deserve it.
I know.
So
basically,
you can legit
it should be
make
the Phillies versus the AL is what I get.
You could legit make a case for like 8 Phillies All-Stars.
I know.
But they're not going to get that. I think the most they get is 6, possibly 5. I think 5 would feel a little dirty.
I don't know.
I think they got to get 6.
When you're talking Bryce, Alec, Kyle.
Trey. Well, I don't think Kyle's got a shot.
That's true. Bryce, Alec, Trey, Zach,
JT,
Ranger.
Zach, Ranger is 6. And then I think Strahm has to get it.
Oh, man.
So
who do you not give it to out of that group?
I don't think one
JT
of the,
7 is crazy.
JT might not.
I don't think Realmuto is going to make it because at some point you're going to have to pick a player from a team that is not very good. So like Diaz, for example, from the Rockies could be their mandatory representative at the backup catcher spot.
JT's injured right now, and so he's not. So he might.
But he is the second leading vote getter.
He is the second leading vote getter. Correct.
Yeah, I know. It's probably going to be 6. You're probably right. JT probably gets left off, but I think Strahm has to get it.
I'm also not sure Strahm makes it because he's not a.
I don't know.
Because he's not a close. Listen,
26 innings.
I firmly believe he should be an all-star, but you know that it does tend to lean starters and closers.
Yeah, and Ray.
So listen, should Strahm be an all-star? 1,000,000% should be an all-star.
You're probably right.
And
but
Ray is saying Kyle should be in the home run derby, not the all-star game.
Hell yeah, he should.
That's the thing. Like they should have representation across.
But they'll probably get 6. I think is what.
That sounds about right. I think especially.
Which is a lot.
Again, it could be Phillies versus the AL.
Yeah.
Like this is really exciting times. And then some other quick news as we wrap up the show here and get ready to send you guys off for the rest of your Tuesdays before we watch the Phillies. Hopefully take game 2 against Tarik Skubal and the Tigers. We did see some walk-offs last night, a good amount of walk-offs. The Celtics were out with their NBA championship trophy at Fenway. The Red Sox finished with a walk-off win. You saw Nick Senzel had the 3rd run of the 10th inning for the Nationals. Rhys Hoskins had a grand slam last night to help the Brewers win. And then the Jurickson Profar had a walk-off for the Padres as they scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 10th to win it. And then the Giants were honoring Willie Mays and finished that game off with a walk-off win as well honor of Willie Mays, which was so great to see with all the San Francisco 24 jerseys. Then some other excitement for the Orioles fan that caught a ball with a bare hand. Josh Naylor out at Cleveland's Josh Naylor grabbed a 415-foot foul ball with an exit velo of 108.5 miles per hour, caught it with his bare hand, had his phone and his drink in another hand, put this man on a baseball field fast. Who needs him? How do we sign him up for an outfield somewhere? But that was actually really impressive. It was great to see him make the barehanded catch. That's pure adrenaline that like helps you. He just casually caught it with one hand. No big deal.
NBD. There was a really nice catch in Detroit last night. Did you see that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Up in like the top, it was foul, but it was right field, like corner of the stadium, and he just barehanded it.
Making their, listen, these
on
are
the
the
field,
moments.
in the stands.
These are the moments.
Basically, the fans are the same as the athletes, Renee.
Exactly. And then the Cardinals did score all 4 of their runs with a 2-out rally in the third to defeat the Braves 4-3 in the first of their series Monday night at Busch Stadium. That was nice to see also. But it's been some great stuff happening around Major League Baseball. Plenty of walk-offs, plenty of excitement. Also some college excitement. I know you saw, Jamie, as well.
Yeah, I tuned in for a hot second last night. Tennessee baseball won their first ever national title in program history last night. They hired a coach, Tony Vitello, 5 years ago, and he just turned Tennessee into a powerhouse all of a sudden, and it paid off for him last night. They've had 3 College World Series berths in the last 4 years, and last night got their first title. So
you know what's wild with Tennessee winning last night too? I believe they become the first #1 overall seed to win the NCAA title since like 2001.
Really?
It's been a long time.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
It's hard
because a lot of people thought A&M were going to win. Like obviously Tennessee was the #1 overall seed, but
Bryce
lot of
Harper
people
was supporting Tennessee.
A lot of people I talked to that are in the know in the college baseball world were heavy on A&M.
Yeah, Bryce showed up to the game rocking the Tennessee jersey the other day.
Right, interesting. It is
so
tough to.
You guys a winner, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you could see. I know the 5 straight NCAA tournaments. As you mentioned, 3 College World Series berth in 4 years. They've had all these stadium upgrades, $100 million worth of stadium upgrades. They're investing in
winning
their
is
club.
good for business.
The program has definitely turned a corner, and congrats them on making some history. That's exciting to see. But tonight, we've got some more history that could be possibly, and who knows what records the Phillies might break, because every game there's still a surprising stat, or there's a stat for everything, a stat, a random fact, or something that we learn about for the Phillies and their success. And again, it's Ranger Suarez against Tarik Skubal tonight. So that game should be exciting to watch. We will be back tomorrow for our post-game show. So tonight we'll be enjoying the 6:40 start. Tomorrow we'll be doing our post-game show. It's a nice early game, 1:10, that game will be starting off for the final game of this series. Hopefully by then we're looking at the Phillies either getting a sweep, maybe, question mark, or just winning the series overall, more importantly. And we'll be back post-game tomorrow to recap all the action from this series and be able to look ahead to the rest of the week. So for Tyler, Jamie, myself, Renee, let's go Phils.
Go Ranger.
Let's go Ranger.
Beat Skubal's ass.
There it is. Beat Skubal's ass, get the win, and we'll see you back tomorrow post-game for more here on PHLY Phillies Podcast. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.